is, everyone. Portland, Oregon, right there. It's Friday. I already feel a little bit loopy, but I think we're maintaining control here, Caleb.
Sure, totally.
We have control of our situation right now.
Let's not mention that there was a shooting at that corner.
I was going to start the show saying that, but I didn't want to bring that up.
Oh, it's so terrible.
We are in downtown Portland. Hello, everyone. This is Digital Trends Live. This is our daily show here from Digital Trends where we bring you the trending tech topics. We've got interviews. We've got all kinds of things we're going to be talking about today. A really, really exciting show, and we're broadcasting live. And I do mean that. If you can't tell by that open, we are live.
Yeah.
So we're on all kinds of different platforms that we're broadcasting. So wherever you're finding us, we do appreciate it. And in addition to that, we can also talk to you. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, all of those platforms for Digital Trends. Hit subscribe wherever you are and send us your comments and questions throughout the show. We will answer them. You may not always like the answer, but we will answer them. And let's kind of run down what we're going to be talking about today, because we've got a star-studded show, I will say. I just kind of threw that out there. We'll say star-studded. Coming up later on in the show today, we're going to be joined by the co-founder and COO of Wise Labs, Alana Fishman. Now, if you don't know what Wise Labs are, they're actually a really, really cool company who kind of broke off from Amazon, or some of them used to work at Amazon, and they want to make your smart home cheaper to make. So essentially, they want to turn your living space into a smart home for much less money than you would actually think, like remarkably cheap prices. So we're going to talk to them about that, how they're able to create the quality products for that price. We're going to then also have Julian Chokatu. So Julian is our mobile editor here at Digital Trends, and he went out to a secret Nokia event a couple of days ago. Now, we can just talk about it today, but we've got some video footage where he kind of reviewed one of the phones, did some interviews. So we have that coming up. We'll play some highlights from his visit to the Nokia event. And we've got Chris Duffin, aka the mad scientist of strength. Chris Duffin is an inventor, an educator, a co-owner, chief engineer of Kabuki Strength Lab. And on top of that, the Guinness World Record holder for sumo deadlift. He lifted 1,001 pounds twice in a row. That's crazy. But what's crazier is we have the one person in here in studio who could probably compete with him for that, and that is Caleb Dennison, senior editor of Digital Trends.
Morning, I was flexing my pecs earlier.
I know it, and I know you're getting ready. Maybe we'll have the challenge between you and Chris Duffin here.
There will be no challenge.
Okay.
He'll absolutely crush me, and that's fine.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with that.
As long as it's on camera, that's all that matters.
Sure.
All right, I'm Greg Nibbler. I guess I should introduce myself as well. So it is Friday, and like I said, with this show, we like to have fun, talk about different tech topics, talk about different things. We've got our Read 'em and Weep segment coming up. But every day I kind of look through what's trending in tech news, and right off the bat, we like to bring you like the top story that people are talking about. And this one is what has just popped up over this last hour. It's from a New York Times article about Facebook. And the plan is apparently from Facebook, and this is based on a report where the New York Times said that they talked to 4 different people from Facebook, and I don't know if this was off the record or not, about what Facebook's plans are for Messenger, Instagram chat, and WhatsApp. And I guess the plan is, these have all been separate services up until now. Their plan is that they'll still be separate services, but they're going to be integrated into each other. Which that means is, if you're on Facebook Messenger, you could send a direct message to someone on WhatsApp who could send a direct message to someone on Instagram. Now, that's a huge undertaking, and I just want to get you out the facts here, and then we'll get your opinions, and I want to get Caleb's opinion on this. Apparently, a lot of people at each one of those services within Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp are not happy about it.
Shocker.
Yeah, big shocker, because to me, what the big takeaway is WhatsApp is well known for its good encryption. I mean, it was a service well before Facebook bought it, and it's used around the world for encrypted communication. And they say that these 3 services are still going to be encrypted, but at the same time, with Facebook Messenger's reputation, I don't think I would trust it. I feel like it takes away trust from WhatsApp.
With just Facebook's reputation
Yeah.
lately of sharing data and leaks and what have you, yeah, I can totally understand why first of all, people like WhatsApp because it's WhatsApp. People like Instagram Messenger because it's Instagram Messenger. I mean, they use these independent services for specific reasons. And I think that Facebook's kind of smooshing them all together so that they work on the same foundation, which from a technical perspective, I can understand would be really, really difficult to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tremendous undertaking.
I don't understand what Mark Zuckerberg's directive is here. What the point is? Apparently, though, this is like the biggest top-down thing where he's just saying, nope, do it.
Yeah.
I need you to go ahead and do this for me, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I'll see you in a year and a half when it's done, right?
Right.
They're talking about it being completed maybe towards the end of this year, maybe early 2020.
Yeah, they're saying, so relatively soon, within a year,
Right.
they'd have all this integrated. And I feel like there's a few different things that I don't necessarily like about this. I mean, sometimes cross-communication, is good, but not...
Right. That's the only benefit I can imagine is like, I don't use WhatsApp. I'm not on the WhatsApp. I don't know if I'm allowed to, due to my age, if there's some, barriers there. Maybe too old for WhatsApp. I'm not really sure, but
well, I think WhatsApp is used internationally a lot more, and for a lot of cases, like it's a way to communicate where you don't have to worry about maybe governments in other countries looking at your.
There's been stories about that, right? I mean, there's been stories about people in South America using WhatsApp to communicate, to kind of let people know how they're doing under really strict government regimes, and that kind of thing, and so if they take away that strong, I don't think they'll take away the strong encryption. I think that maybe folding that in as part of the plan and spreading that out amongst all three platforms might actually be the plan. I'm sure they'll message it that way. Message it.
I see what you did there.
But I don't think that the trust is not there with Facebook. Oh, the comedy is thick this morning, you guys. I don't think that the trust in Facebook is there. I think that's at the crux of the issue. And you know what? What problem does this fix?
Well, it doesn't. I feel like it's Mark Zuckerberg just saying like, hey, I need to do something. I'm going to take back control.
We own things and I want to homogenize them. And that doesn't seem like a great idea. Plus, I totally understand if you're on the WhatsApp team, you were part of the company before it got bought by Facebook. All this time you've been happy that Facebook wasn't messing around with you or your job or this thing that you helped create. And now they really are. They're kind of saying, yeah, you know what? You're not special anymore. You're going to be part of this new thing. Yeah. I would hate that. I'd hate to, I don't know. Yeah, I would want to be part of that situation.
It's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out. Again, this report just came out from the New York Times just literally like about an hour and a half ago. So still shaking out. We'll see what Facebook's response is to it because so far all the comments I have seen have not been positive about this. So let us know what your comments are. We are broadcasting live on Facebook. Like I said, all of our different platforms, Facebook, Twitter. Hello to Bernadette. I want to give a shout out to her. Brian, we've got Rick in there, Mary Jo, all the comments coming through. So please let us know what those comments are, and we will absolutely address those as we go through the show. We need to get back to some tech headlines here in a minute, but now it's time, I think, for our Read 'em and Weep segment. Read 'em and Weep is where we take a look at some of the comments and questions that have come through across our different social media platforms, and we address them directly to you. Sometimes we like them, sometimes we don't, but either way, we want you to know that we read the comments. All right, Robert Allen, regarding Trends with Benefits yesterday, which is our live podcast that we record here, which featured both myself and Caleb Dennison. This stinks already. Bye. Okay, I'm back. There's nothing else good on Facebook Live.
I hope he was joking when he said it stunk already, because that actually, nothing about yesterday's show stunk.
No, you're wrong, Robert.
So much fun.
Robert.
Yeah, whatever.
You stink. No, I don't know if you do. All right. But either way, you came back, so it doesn't really matter. So I win. All right. Let's go. Robert. All right, let's go on to our next comment. This stinks. I love you that he just took the time to type that too. All right, Mr. Zazable. I like that name. Mr. Zazables, that's fancy. Regarding the HP Spectre X360 15 AMOLED hands-on at CES 2019. CES 2019 equals the same size, just another formulaic feature addition. This is getting boring. Wow.
You know
that's a lot to unwrap right there.
Comments like that are getting boring. Because we hear them a lot. You know what? Tech can't, sometimes you have an evolution year, sometimes you have a revolution year. And, it depends on the tech. We saw some revolutions at CES and we saw some evolutions. And I get it. For a lot of people, tech is like TV. Just watching things, come out and be born into the world can be exciting. When it's not, it's a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah, I mean, and there's not much you can do about that or control about that.
I mean, Mr. Zazable should be excited just to have a name like Mr. Zazable.
I know. I mean, you're already
Isn't that
winning.
enough for you?
You're already winning, Mr. Zazable. All right, let's go on to our next comment here as we walk through Read 'em and Weep. where we do take a look at all the comments. David O'Brien regarding, is this going to be another bad one? I haven't even read it yet. Regarding Digital Trends Live, 1/24/19, Apple's 35th anniversary. That's a topic we had yesterday. Yesterday was the 35th anniversary of the first Macintosh coming out. Apple has become the company they threw the hammer at. So that's actually referencing a commercial from January 24th, 1984, when Macintosh first came out. And the whole commercial, it was during the Super Bowl, where they made it look like it was like a 1984, like George Orwell 1984, with a guy like, barking orders at people. It's my barking orders.
It's also your angry typer guy.
It is. Yeah, they kind of combine there.
Put the fingers out and
Mr. Zazzle.
Mr.
So that was the whole thing, and then you have this athlete come in and she throws a hammer at it and shatters it because that's what Macintosh did. So I get the comment there. That Apple has become that company. I can see where you're going with that.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes, very clever indeed.
I want to let you know, I really enjoy your potatoes.
You mentioned it's Friday.
I told you it's going to be an awesome Friday show.
It is happening.
Give me another one. I want to see another Read 'em and Weep.
All right,
I haven't started weeping yet.
With our Read 'em and Weep comments. As being noted, apparently I use this same voice for a lot of different things. Keelan just said, that's also Greg's meth head voice. That is true. It all kind of wraps into one. Mr. Zazzable. All right, Nick Hewitt, regarding if you spilled water on your laptop, act fast and you might be able to fix it. One day I'll need to Google this, but my laptop will be dead. I get that.
It's a sad face, but that's kind of a funny comment. You got the wrong emoji there, guy.
Nick Hewitt.
That's good.
That's fair. Yeah, I have ruined. Now I'm actually paranoid. I'm going to move my coffee over. All right, continuing on with Read 'em and Weep. Let's see. I'm not sure how many more we've got. Okay, we've got one more comment here, and then we'll get back to some tech headlines. Posey Matt. Trends and benefits streaming services. So regarding, again, our show yesterday where we were talking about streaming services, hit subscribe wherever you get podcasts. Type in Digital Trends, hit subscribe. You can listen to that entire episode. It was a lot of fun. Not all of us can afford a $1 or $3 increase. So that's talking about Netflix raising their prices anywhere between $1 to $2, maybe $3, and whether or not that's worth paying for.
You know what? I'm sorry, but I get this feeling that Posey Matt posted this as he was picking up his double half-calf decaf latte at Starbucks, which cost him $6.30, and he gets one of those every day. And he can't afford a $1 to $3 price increase on Netflix. I don't know. Maybe, okay, look, I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. Look, but honestly, if a $1 to $3 a month, that tops out at $36 a year. That's not a lot of money. And I think it's okay for us to say.
Yeah, for that much entertainment.
Yeah, honestly, if you can't afford that kind of a price increase, then you can't afford Netflix in the first place. So, I mean, maybe what else am I supposed to say in the comment? If you put a comment in front of me like that, I'm going to have to battle it back with some practicality. Sorry.
And you also have an article that's up at Digital Trends right now about this and about some of that, just kind of where streaming television is. So check out that article. Check out the podcast from yesterday. Want to give a couple of other shout outs and address some of the comments too, because we do need to get to tech headlines, but it's Friday and I'm having a lot of fun right now. Hello to Marie. Marie, our friend Marie.
Oh, Marie.
Caleb is living his best podcast life right now.
Thank you. You have no idea what happened before the cameras came on.
No. Keelan said, I can afford a $2 increase. I just don't want to vote, or I just want to vote on whether that pays for Friends or not.
Fair.
Yeah. George says, are you financial shaming Posey Matt?
I was not, no, because I don't know if Posey Matt was actually experiencing that problem himself. I'm just saying, if one has an issue with a $1 to $3 a month price increase on something, which maxes out at $36 a year, then perhaps a Netflix subscription is not a good idea.
The previous comments were exclusively Caleb Dennison.
That's right, and do not represent the attitudes or thoughts of the company at large.
Let's move on. Let's talk about some tech headlines. All right. I've got one here, and actually I really wanted to bring this to you to see what you thought about this.
All right.
So we've seen a lot of kind of experimental phones, different things, especially with the foldable phones that may be coming out. We've got the 5G aspect, but we're not even going to get into that. Just different ways to look at phones, and I feel like every company's trying to figure out a different way. We have a new one from Vivo, and this is a spec phone. It's not necessarily going to come out, but they did make apparently a fully functioning version of this. It's called the Vivo Apex, where they have removed all ports and buttons from the phone. So it's just a device with nothing except for the camera. That's the only thing. 2 cameras on the back. Other than that, there are no physical buttons. There are no ports. It charges wirelessly.
What about speakers?
The speaker is actually in the screen.
Okay, so they're doing a technology like we saw with some of the OLED TVs, where the screen itself makes the sound.
Yep, the screen itself.
It's not hard to do. Then that totally makes sense. I love it.
Well, so you do like it. So yeah.
I like the speaker screen part.
Yeah.
I do not like the no port part. Although I will say, you drop it in the sink or the toilet, and why are you checking your phone while you're going to the bathroom? Stop doing that, people.
It's Friday.
Get one of those sanitary wipes at the very least. Anyway, I can imagine that maybe it makes it a little bit more waterproof, so that would be cool. But
yeah, I do like that aspect.
But that means wireless charging, absolutely necessary, right?
Yes, it wirelessly charges, and then it's got sensors. So it's a glass, actually. It's encased in glass, and it has sensors for where the buttons would be.
I got no problem here with any of that. I think it's really cool, except for it means wireless charging is necessary. And there's not a big enough wireless charging infrastructure out there right now. If every restaurant, every office had a wireless charging pad at every desk, cool.
Yeah.
But what about your car? You know what I mean? How are you going to charge your phone in your car?
Actually, we did an interview at CES with Ventev, and they have one for the car.
Yeah, so you just plug it into like
you plug it into the
cigarette lighter thing, or
and
USB
then you just
port.
Plop it on it, and then it charges it.
So yeah, I guess, I mean, you got to invest in some other accessories and what have you. But I mean, you got rid of the headphone jack. So all that was left to get rid of was the charging port.
Just take it all away.
That it's not really removing that much.
Yeah.
Talk about
I mean, I
talk
suppose
about
so.
an
At the end
evolution,
of the
not
day.
a revolution. That wasn't a huge jump. When you say it, it sounds more profound than it actually is. But all they did was they just removed a charging port.
Yeah.
Are you less impressed?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, I still like the headphone jack. So.
Do you like having physical speaker on/off button or volume?
I like having
button?
a physical button, so when I'm frustrated with something, I can press it really hard.
Yeah,
there's something about that. It's satisfactory.
Gives you something to break. Gives you an opportunity to ruin your phone.
Well, I break
forever.
my phones a lot anyway, so really, I mean,
maybe that's
this isn't
going to
be my phone. That's why I have a cheap phone. All right, that is true. Okay, so
sorry to downplay it. I just don't think it's that big of a deal.
Okay. Well, there we go. You can read this article at digitaltrends.com, give your opinions and comments on that, and we will be getting some opinions and comments pulled up here. I'll be talking about those, whoever is commenting right now. Let's go on to our next topic here, and this is another trending story that we saw popping up. We've got an article at Digital Trends. It has to do with a police department in Fremont, California, now incorporating a Tesla Model S into their service cars, which I didn't actually think about it. Like that actually is a pretty big deal.
Is it? Like, my first reaction when I read that headline was like, wait, why is this news? Like, hasn't this happened before?
Yeah.
Like, this is the first Tesla that's deployed in a police force?
From what I'm understanding.
Why?
Well, I think there's still a lot of stigma about relying on electric vehicles when it comes to something like this. That's my guess, is just in that kind of industry that it's
like you're chasing the bad guy and oh crap, my battery just went out.
Right. I think that's kind of
I don't know, man.
Part of it.
That's I don't know. That's about
maybe
the
I'm
same.
wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
about the same as saying, you might run out of gas when you're chasing a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, then you call another cop and have them continue the pursuit. I just don't see a reason why not to use a Tesla. Now, hopefully there's some people out there, some viewers that know a little bit more about what they do to police cruisers in terms of, because they don't just take stuff off the shelf. There's reinforcements, and they don't just put bars in the back so the bad guys can't get out.
Right.
There's other things that they do. They soup them up a little bit, but we already know that Teslas are really fast cars.
They
so
are.
They got the fast part down. They've got the maneuverable part down. What else do they have to do to a car in order for it to be a police cruiser?
Well, we actually covered some of that. So they have to, there's reinforcements that have to go in. They do have to have it like aftermarket install the lights, install an actual bar system. And they said it's about $5,000 of improvements they had to do aftermarket, which actually isn't, in the grand scheme, that bad when you think about everything that they're putting into that. They also installed solar panels on their carports so they can get the charging there. But yeah.
Interesting. Well, I think it's cool. I mean, it's the coolest looking cop car I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Outside of an unmarked vehicle,
Right, yeah.
I think that's a pretty good black and white right there.
Yep. Well, there it is. You can check that out at Digital Trends. Again, we've got the article on that. Let us know what you think about that. And let's see, does Brian says, does a Tesla Model S charge back up to 100% in 5 minutes? Oh, that's true. So yeah, as far as filling up the gas tank is a lot faster. So we'll see where that goes. You know, see if.
Can you hold on for a second? I need to charge my car. I'll get back to the pursuit in just a moment.
You wait right there.
Wait right there.
For 30 to 35 minutes.
Can we pull over here? There's a fast charger over here by the 7-Eleven. I just need
to take a right. And all right. Well, let's go on to our next topic, talking about transportation and upgrades to our transportation infrastructure. Autonomous flying taxis has been something that a lot of companies are working on, and now we just got word that Boeing has just successfully tested one of theirs. It's successfully in that it went off the ground, and it works. It flies off the ground. And
it was airborne for a period of time.
It was airborne for a period of time. There we go. So they tested it out in, I guess, outside of DC is where they were trying this. And so the goal here is this thing would be completely autonomous. There would be no pilot at all in the system, and they say the goal is also to transport 2 people a distance up to 50 miles. So they're looking at kind of like a commuter autonomous flying taxi drone.
I was expecting like a quadcopter or a drone type thing, but that looked more like a plane. I kind of want to see that again if we can bring it back up. But that's not what I was expecting for some reason. Although for Boeing, I guess that makes a whole lot of sense.
It does. I mean, I do like the idea.
It is kind of a drone.
Well, there's something about it to me, because there are so many different companies working on it, and you have companies like Uber who have publicly been trying to make this work. Mm-hmm. There's something, though, about a company like Boeing that just seems a little more trustworthy.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, they kind of know what they're doing when it comes to flying. That's like with Bell helicopters. Mm-hmm. Like, there's just, and it's not that Uber hasn't brought in I'm sure the top people from everywhere. But just on principle, I think I would trust Boeing.
Well, also manufacturing, right? The guys are they're ready to make this stuff.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I love the whole autonomous flying taxi thing. I'm really into it.
Yeah.
A lot of people are scared. I get it. Like, first of all, some people just don't like flying. I like flying.
I do too.
I enjoy flying, but also I love the idea that I could get from point A to point B. Without all the traffic mess, at least until there's a ton of flying taxis in there.
Yeah, there was
for a while at least. It's gonna be a lot faster. It's gonna be quieter. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I would definitely take one. I'll take one.
Boeing's right up the street. I think we should go check them out and ask them for a ride.
You know what? We're in a building here in downtown Portland. There's a rooftop. Fly one down.
Yeah,
fly one down here right now.
We're waiting for you, Boeing.
Yep, dear Boeing.
Bring it.
All right. So, let's see. I think we still have time for at least one more article, if not a couple. This one is something I've actually been wanting to get to all week, and if you watch this show, that I both love and fear robots. And this has to do with a new robot dog called Animal.
What?
And it's Anymal. I want to call it Animal. Animal. And what they're doing is these dogs this is from the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, and what they're trying to do is make robotic dogs, well, not dogs necessarily, but robotic assistants more durable for out in the field use. And so what they've done is they've created a robot dog that they kick, and they try to beat it up and shove it over and see what happens to it. And this thing can adapt to it and is able to pull itself back up easily. It's able to withstand a lot of pressure. I still think it's funny, a video of a guy kicking a robotic dog. But this is something they're trying to do, so that way when it's out in the field under tough situations, it will withstand more physical obstacles, I suppose.
Cool.
Thanks, Caleb.
All right. That's all I know. I mean, it's cool. Kind of feel like we've seen that before, though. I know that. That's kind of a big deal, right? Terrain is difficult to navigate. If I'm being serious about it, I understand the point. It would be easy for these things to fall over, but they need to be able to get themselves back up. I feel like, didn't Boston Dynamic do that already, or?
Well, Boston Dynamics has one where they shove a robot over with a hockey stick, which is hilarious.
Yes.
If you've ever seen it, it's hilarious.
I think this,
which is why the robots.
I think why this is fun is we get to see somebody kicking a robot dog. Because that's what you want to do. Isn't that terrible, though?
Well,
what's wrong with us?
You want to kick the robot. I'm sorry.
Put that robot down.
There's some comments coming through. Yeah, Marie just said, this is how the robot revolution happens. They get tired of being kicked by people, which is why me laughing at it, I know the robots will come for me first. I'm comfortable with that. I understand it. I'll be ready in a few years when it happens.
There is a strange fascination that we as humans have with like not being able to knock something down. And it starts when you're a kid with the Weeble Wobble. You know what I'm talking about? Just flick that thing, just bounces back up. And no matter how hard you try to like make it stay down, it won't. And it's frustrating. You want that thing to go down, but it won't. I feel like that's what this dog is.
It kind of is. The robots will use this archival footage right here when we're on trial by them for our meanness to robots. Suzanne said Caleb's out of sorts because he doesn't have his ubiquitous Trends with Benefits Honest Iced Tea.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
It's a little early. Well, here it's about 9:25 a.m. because we're in Portland, Oregon. So I'm sure it'll switch it up at some point.
She knows what's going on. I did actually have some of that peach tea earlier this morning. My coffee wasn't ready, so I just had a little bit of peach tea.
And final comment that I want to get to, and I know we need to go to a break because we have our guests coming in. Brian just said, you better not kick it if it's carrying my pizza.
Fair.
That is fair. Once it brings me the pizza, yeah, I'll probably change my mind pretty quick. All right.
I'd like to see one of those on like an icy street. Just
I don't know why it's funny.
Slipping around.
It's funny. It's just funny. Robots falling down is funny, and I cannot change that about myself.
Bring me that video, please.
All right, Caleb, thank you.
You're welcome.
In here
Thanks
today.
for having me.
This is always fun. We have a lot more show for you, though. So coming up next, we're going to bring in Chris Duffin, a.k.a. the mad scientist of strength. And he is the Guinness World Record holder in the sumo deadlift, 1,001 pounds twice in a row, and co-owner and chief engineer of Kabuki Strength Lab. We're going to talk about his entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about his inventions that he's come up with to help people work out. And clearly, I'm going to arm wrestle him. So you want to stay tuned for that. We'll be back here in just a minute with more. I'm not going to. With more Digital Trends Live. I'm scared. That's fine. Digital Trends Live. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We are broadcasting live across all of our different social media platforms, taking a look at the comments and questions as they come through, and we love to get those, so go ahead and drop those in there. Right now, I am very excited to welcome Chris Duffin to the show. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Greg. How you doing?
Doing great. So I want to talk about, we've got some really awesome things here on the table. I want to walk through these things. I want to talk about everything you've been doing, and I also kind of want to talk about the Guinness World Record.
Okay. Well, this is part of how I got there. So.
This is important stuff to learn then. So I love your phrase, the mad scientist of strength. And you're the co-owner and chief engineer of Kabuki Strength Lab. Why don't we just, to start off, kind of walk through what that is?
Okay. We're an organization, it's interesting, we're both a manufacturer and an educator.
Okay.
And so we're a principle-based organization, so principles around managing load, movement, And out of that, we find gaps that are in the industry, so we don't just make things to make things.
Gotcha.
So we have a lot of very unique, innovative tools that improve biomechanics, positioning, and it's all about reducing injury rate and maximizing the performance of the athlete. So we work with basically all the top MLB teams.
Wow.
Both the teams that competed in the Super Bowl, use our products. Colleges like the NCAA champions for baseball, basketball, football, they're all weight rooms are equipped with our stuff, along with hundreds and thousands of other organizations. And we do a lot of physical therapy and chiropractic tools as well.
That's incredible. There's a lot to unload to just digest right there.
It is, yeah.
Shout out to Oregon State baseball, by the way, NCAA champs. So you take like where normal correct me if I'm wrong with my terminology, but normal like workout regimens, normal procedures, how people would work out, and you find out there's a gap here. You can fix this. You can do this better.
Yeah, we apply a lot on movement principles.
Okay.
So getting people in the proper positions, getting them out of pain. We do a lot with back injuries, shoulder injuries, stuff like that. But just improving those principles.
Wow, very cool.
The interesting thing, and this kind of leads into this discussion here, is at the end of the day, the research shows about 80 to 85% of all injuries are not really, related to an accident happening or being in bad position.
Yeah.
It's all about loading. We've accumulated too much fatigue.
Oh,
so how do we manage that?
Yeah. So
and that ends up leading to problems down the road.
That actually makes a lot of sense because I've heard of that. A lot of injuries will just like pop up and you have no idea why it happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people like to separate like life from training. They think they're two separate. Like, here's my training plan. Well, training is a stress, and we're adding fatigue, and that's how we grow and get better. But it all comes from the same cup. We've got a limited level of resources to manage stress.
Yeah.
So if you're in here stressed out, or you've got some financial stress, or an argument with the wife, whatever it is, all that is coming from the same cup. So you go to the gym and you try to do the same thing that you've always done over and over again, and you're not taking into consideration the rest of your life.
Wow.
And so how do you know like how you should change and manage your training based on that?
Yeah, that's a very complicated thing. So how would
the body doesn't see the difference between an argument or your boss yelling at you and a heavy training session. It's
the stress all accumulates in the same manner.
We respond the same way.
Well, let's talk about these devices then and how that can help manage some of that.
Okay. So first, there's a few different ways. So there's a lot of technology out there. People monitor heart rate variability and a bunch of other sensors trying to like get to how are we recovered, where are we at, but they don't really tell you at the end of the day, like, what do I do?
Yeah.
I'm in the gym. I've got weight on the bar.
We've all got
what do I do with this bar now?
Yeah.
And so we take it straight to that. And what we do is we measure the velocity of the bar.
Wow.
So I've got several different, we consult basically all the VBT devices out there. This is probably the best one.
Just to explain that one.
Velocity-based training.
Velocity-based training, okay.
So this is what's called a tethered unit. So there's an encoder in here, and it measures the angle and how fast it's moving. We can look at tons of different metrics, but I'm going to simplify it down. We've got some wearable tech, a few different companies. This is more economy-based rotary encoder style. So for the most part, I'll just say that these are all the wearable tech out there. I think that's where the industry is going to go. But currently, the technology isn't accurate enough.
Gotcha.
For like pure strength athletes. So it might be okay for maybe an average person once we explain the philosophies.
Going out jogging or something.
Yeah, but anybody that's pretty serious, these just don't have the level of accuracy yet.
Gotcha.
So you would want to go with a tethered unit.
Something that's actually tethered. Yeah. So you would.
This would put this around the device, the bar, the dumbbell, whatever.
And then you can tell how fast, how hard you're pulling.
So what we do is, we have to, every lift and every person is a little bit individual. So I can't just say, here's the velocity that you need to lift.
Gotcha, yeah.
So what we do is we take a session and we walk all the way through a bunch of different lifts, and we create a linear regression line based off of that. So you can imagine if you're lifting really heavy, it's really slow, and if it's really light, it can be really fast.
Makes sense.
And so there's a slope of that line, and along that, we know exactly where with any load how fast it should be moving. And so then now we can take that a whole nother approach and go, instead of a lot of people, they program their training based on either a weight or a percentage of their max. But the thing is that fight, that getting yelled at, that staying up late, you know, at a bachelor party or with the kids over, the kids weren't sleeping well or whatever it is. Let's say you have a 500-pound max. That day it might be 460.
Because you factor that into it. And you can...
Right. So now we actually know exactly what your daily max is. Or maybe it's better. Maybe you're recovering better and you're not taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
So we can, maybe it's 505, 507, and we're leaving something on the plate. So this is for our performance athletes. Where do we want to go? So we can both reduce injury rates by tapering back training, or maximize performance by taking every last advantage of, you know, progress that you're making that you're not accounting for. So every workout we can dial in very specifically, and this is how we work with our clientele. So we work with clientele around the world, but how do you do that when you're not there coaching? Right. So our coaching staff, you know, we feed all this data into our database.
That's a lot of data analysis that's going on.
Well, it's all automated.
Yeah.
So for the athlete, it's really simple. So instead of, we just give them so from a training perspective, you want to accumulate fatigue in different percentage zones, which will elicit different results.
Gotcha.
So we'll just leave that. So instead of a typical program would say, I want you to do a total of 4 sets of 4 repetitions, so 16 repetitions in this like 85 to 90% of your max range.
Okay.
So we would just give the corresponding velocity values that we know that would correspond with that. So you get into the gym and you start training. If you have more, if the bar is moving faster, you add more weight.
Yeah.
Or if you, like I said, you're up late with the kids and it's just not there,
it's moving slower,
you're going to go, I can't, you're not going to get to that weight. You're going to hit that sooner. And so all of a sudden, it's automatically, we call it auto-regulation. It's going to auto-regulate your training and make sure that we're managing both life stress, all of it's going to come down to how that bar is moving right now, today. And so you can achieve some pretty phenomenal things. Our athletes achieve phenomenal success, and I like to walk the walk. This is kind of pioneered the approach, and my director of education's really fleshed out all the database and taken it a whole nother step from where I initially was looking at a long time ago. But using this is how I set the Guinness World Record on the sumo deadlift.
Yeah, so you use this technology to train and to gear up for that. And we're looking at some images right now of, I don't think that's the world record. Is that the world record one?
No, that one wasn't.
Yeah,
but that's,
I saw the world record one earlier. So you use that to train up to that point to know when
and that was
putting too much stress
it's
on
the
the body.
heaviest weight ever lifted, that style of movement. Plus, there's a couple different styles of deadlifts as well. So you may be familiar with like some of the strongman events. They use a different style of deadlift. So that I am still the lightest person, any style of deadlift, to ever deadlift over 1,000 pounds by something like 140 pounds. I was walking around about 260, and the other 5 guys that have done it are 380 to well into the 400s.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're used to seeing, you know, like
and I also did it. Yeah, Thor.
Thor.
Yeah. He uses our product, by the way. So
there we go.
I mean,
boom.
You name the name, I can. They use our. The Rock just ordered some stuff too, so you know.
Wow.
But we got our hands in everywhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But I also did it for nearly 3 repetitions, which makes me the only person in the world who has ever done repetitions with 1,000 or more pounds.
That's insane.
And I did it at 265, 260 pounds. So, which is, it sounds heavy, but in my world, that's actually a lighter guy. So.
Well, I have to say, I mean, there's no better testament than that and just all of these other people using the product to what you.
We love theory and research, but at the end of the day, sometimes we dive too far down the rabbit hole, and that's why we try to simplify this process. So a lot of people use this and they collect data and they'll say, "What is your data?" and look at it from like a year past, 6 months ago, and you can look at force and velocity and investors and all this sort of stuff. I'm like, simplify it down. You know, my background's all engineering, business management, stuff like that. I'm like, you have to be taking action on it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, this number tells us today what I need to do with my workout. And that is like, you can flesh all the, I know we're on digital trends, it's, you know, technology and data and all this stuff, but we've got to get to something that is driving action in what we're doing, and not just like cool to look at and analyze and, you know.
Real world applications. Well, Chris, I mean, this is fascinating stuff. Thank you so much for coming in here today to talk about this too. And where can people go? What's the website that people can go to find out more?
Yeah, kabukistrength.com.
Kabukistrength.com.
So we've got a free download of the tools that we're talking about as far as creating the linear regression line and giving you some data so you could go do your own profiling session. It's a one workout. With one of the devices, input it, and it's going to give you a lot of that base. So that's, if you look up the auto-regulation book of methods, it's on there. And then you can find, all our web links are on there, but Kabuki Strength is, you're going to find it on Facebook, Instagram, all that other stuff. My personal is mad_scientist_Duffin.
There you go.
On Instagram. That's where I'm most active at. So.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, Chris, this is really, really fascinating stuff, and congratulations on all your success with this. Yeah, it's just wonderful. So check that out, digitaltrends.com. Check out Kabuki Strength and everything that you guys have going on. And I've got to now, I believe we're going to be playing a video from Julian Chikatu. So Julian is our mobile editor here from Digital Trends. And I think, is that what we're going to, just to make sure with my booth there? Okay, so we're going to play this. So Julian Chikatu went out to a Nokia event earlier this week, and it was under embargo, which means we couldn't talk about it until today. But he checked out one of the new Nokia phones, talked to some people down there, and we've got some highlights from that. So let's go ahead and roll that right now. Julian Chikatu at the Nokia event.
We're here with Pekka Rantala, the CMO of HMD Global, who they've just made this major news of finally coming to the US carrier market. So now HMD Global phones, Nokia branded phones, are going to be essentially sold in certain carriers, and I was wondering if you'd like to explain a little more.
I can explain, and I can, hopefully you can see how excited we are. It's such a great day for us. You know that we started the march of the Nokia brand back to the consumers around the world a couple of years ago, and we also started our business here in North America. But today marks a big milestone in this comeback march of the Nokia brand into the North American consumers, because today we are announcing this strategic partnership with 3 leading wireless carriers in North America. So we are really excited about today.
So the carriers are going to be Verizon, Cricket Wireless, and Rogers.
The carriers are wireless, Cricket Wireless, Verizon, and Rogers. And in this order, we will march into the market. So we will start January 25th with Cricket Wireless.
And these are going to be value tier devices in the budget category, right?
Absolutely. We really think that this is the right entry point for us. And this, as you know, we have been already available through open market, but this will be enlarging and widening the reach and coverage and availability and visibility of the Nokia brand in such a big way that we are extremely excited about this.
So I see you have one of those devices in your hand right now. Which one's that?
This is the Nokia 3 One Plus that will start to retail in Cricket Wireless on Friday 25th of January.
How much is that going to cost?
It's $159.
Gotcha. Cool. So that's a little bit on the plans for HMD Global coming to the US, and we're going to have more on exactly what those devices are, and you can find more at digitaltrends.com. So HMD Global is bringing 3 devices to carriers in North America, and I'm here with Tiffany Bayman from Cricket Wireless, who's going to talk a little bit more on the Nokia 3.1 Plus, which is available January 25th?
January 25th for $159.99.
Right. So can you tell us a little more about the device that you're holding in your hand, which is the 3.1 Plus?
Here's why we're excited about it. So it's Cricket's first Android 9 Pi device. So we're really excited about that Android experience with the Nokia brand. And our consumers are heavy users of their wireless device. And so they are demanding higher feature functionality and finishes for an affordable price. And what I love about this device is that it's got a big screen. It has great video, great sound. It has a fingerprint sensor, which is unique to this price point, and has 2-day battery life. So there are it's a really great featured phone for a really affordable price.
And like you mentioned, you emphasized on Android 9 Pi being the first device that you're bringing to the Cricket Wireless portfolio. How important is that to your customers?
I think it's an optimized Android experience. So we have a heavy Android base, and so they're looking for this and looking for new features, and we've got it here.
And how important is bringing such value tier devices to Cricket Wireless, especially from a brand that you've worked with in the past? Well,
our customers can afford to pay more. They just won't. They don't want to. And so they're looking for the best features they can possibly get. They're looking for the best brands in the marketplace at an affordable price point.
Awesome. Well, excited to see that. And it's coming out on January 25th again for $160. So this in particular is the Nokia 3.1 Plus. It's what's coming to Cricket Wireless for $160. And you wouldn't really think that this costs so little when you hold it. It's just solid in the hand. It looks great with that blue color. And the specifications are going to be quite similar to the existing 3.1 Plus sold internationally. But we'll be diving more into the details and performance and all that good stuff in our hands-on review on digitaltrends.com. So back to you, Greg.
All right, that was Julian Trocaccio, our mobile editor there, taking a look at the Nokia phones. And I do love the idea that some of these previous phones, you know, you have the Razr, you have now Nokia, these phones kind of coming back and making a presence again. And we've got an article up at Digital Trends where you can read more in depth about those phones. And coming up here in just a few minutes on Digital Trends Live, we're going to be joined by Alana Fishman, who is the co-founder and COO of Wyze Labs. Now, Wyze, W-Y-Z-E, and they are making smart home devices at a much lower price, but still maintaining the quality from other devices. And it's so low that I really want to get into the details just to understand how they're doing this and how they've created these different devices. You can check those out. They've got cameras down to like $19.99, which is just insane if you ever looked up any of that stuff. So we're going to be talking about that. Also, a big thank you once again to Chris Duffman for hopping in here to talk about Kabuki Strength, or Chris Duffman, excuse me. And we also had Caleb Dennison in here earlier before that. So what we're going to do, I believe, is take a quick break, and we're going to do that, and then we'll come right back. We'll get Alana on the line, and we'll talk to her about Wyze Labs right here on Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thanks for joining us across all of our different platforms as we go through our show today. And I'm really excited about our next topic. I mean, smart homes is just a part of the digital landscape that has grown tremendously over the last couple of years, and it's going to continue to grow. But as we acquire these devices, you have to decide, okay, how much do I want to spend on this? What should I do here? What do you need? And our next guest is somebody who's trying to tackle all of those problems. And we have right now joining us Alana Fishman, the COO and co-founder of Wyze Labs. Hello, Alana.
Great to be here.
Thanks so much for joining us. You know, I wanted to talk about this. Your company, I've been on your website actually this morning. I've been showing all my coworkers. I'm like, check this out. This is really cool. And we have reviews of your products here at Digital Trends already. But why don't you walk through, maybe for everybody listening who may not know the backstory, because you have a history with Amazon and how that started, and then creating this company, Wyze Labs.
Sure. So we're a startup based in Seattle. We were founded in July of 2017. And our mission is to make great technology accessible to everyone. We believe that technology makes life better and everyone should have access to it. So we started focusing on smart homes. So our first product was a smart home camera called Wyze Cam. It's a 1080p smart home camera that you can put anywhere in your home and access a live feed 24/7. It includes 14 days of cloud storage for free. There's no subscription charge for our camera. In May of last year, we added a second camera called Wyze Cam Pan, which is a pan and tilt. which is what you're seeing right now. And that one actually tracks motion and follows motion across the room. And so we launched those cameras last year and have had amazing success and response from our customers. And what we really focus on is partnering with our customers, getting feedback from them on what they like, what they don't like, and how we can make our products better, and then continuously making them better over time.
I mean, the products themselves look absolutely incredible. And the thing that, I mean, I have to admit what stood out, because a lot of smart home cameras are, quite frankly, expensive. You know, it's hard to get into it. It's a big stepping stone to get in there. How do you make a product that's only $19.99?
Sure. So we focus on efficiency in everything that we do. So we do everything we can to drive down costs on behalf of our customers. And then we cut out a lot of other costs that many other companies have. So we don't spend money on marketing. We don't have celebrity endorsements or big marketing campaigns. And we sell as much as possible direct to consumers, because we believe that we should drive efficiencies and drive down costs and then pass those savings on to customers.
That's a great philosophy, I think, you know, to make that such a more accessible thing for a lot of people with smart homes. So you've got the cameras, and correct me if I'm wrong, so we have the 2 cameras right now?
That's correct.
Okay, so you've got those, you got the cameras that you have. How do you think about, just in smart homes in general, like where do you see it going? What kind of products do you want to create or maybe working on in the future? I know you probably can't say everything that you're working on, but you know, just in a general sense, where do you see the trend going?
Sure. So we think about smart home, we again think about making it more accessible, lowering the barriers for people to use them. So a big barrier we think about is compatibility. And so we look at integration. So right now we have integrations like IFTTT and works with Alexa, and we're looking at other integrations as well. So that's a big piece of it for us. And then we are looking at other products beyond cameras within smart home. We get a lot of feedback from customers. One of the biggest ones is an outdoor version. So that's something we're looking at, and then other products as well to ultimately make the products more useful if you add other smart home products as well.
So you talk a lot about taking your customer feedback and really interacting with your customers. How do you go about doing that? What's your platform for interacting with everybody?
Sure. So one big area is forums. So we have forums on our website, and that's a big area that customers use to engage with us. Our team is actively involved in those forums, and we have areas like the roadmap where we actually lay out different features within our current products and also other products we're working on to directly give our customers and our users visibility into what's coming, and we give regular updates about the progress, because there are lots of things we want to do, but we have to. It takes time, and so we want to give regular updates on what's coming because we know people really care about those updates. So that's one big area. We have a very core community. We call it our core user group that are actively involved. We have a group of users that actually beta test a lot of our software before it's released. And so we release our software to them early. They help us find bugs, test it, make sure it's stable before we release it to the public. We have about, I think, close to 2,000 people actively involved in that area as well.
That's a really great number, actually, especially for, you started up 2017, I think is what you said. And yeah, to have that kind of a community base, because building something like that, I feel like can really help a product out, which is obviously something but that's really great that you're fostering that and encouraging customers to interact with you. Have there ever been any suggestions that customers have that you immediately took to the product?
We've actually, so over the last year, we've released almost one app update per month and firmware updates along with that. So some things we've added are the ability to schedule when motion detection is turned on or off. That was a big request from customers. Things like grouping cameras so that you can turn them on and off together. That was another feature we added in one of our recent updates. One of our big requests we have is to be able to view multiple cameras. That's something we're pushing in one of our upcoming updates. So we're continuously taking new ideas and getting our customers to help us prioritize. It's a balance of how difficult it is from a technical perspective and how important it is to our customers. And we take both into consideration as we plan our updates.
Very cool. And with that interaction with customers, you know, one of the things that I think has become fascinating for a lot of us is seeing the videos that people get with their cameras that come up. What are some of the crazy ones that you've seen so far? I know we've got a video of one. I'm not sure if we want to play that one quite yet, but what are some crazy videos that you've seen?
Sure, we get fantastic videos from our customers, and we love seeing them out to our community. And that's a really fun piece of how customers engage with us. So I personally love the animal-related ones. We get everything from dogs escaping from their kennels, dogs accidentally turning on a stove. This one that you're showing now, that was one of my favorites. This was a bear that got into somebody's home, which I cannot imagine.
No.
Actually came back a couple of times. It was pretty fantastic. But we have people watching their bird feeders. You know, a lot of people use them for very helpful things with helping to keep connected with their families as well. So a lot of people use them as baby cams. A lot of people use them with elderly family members, which has been a really fantastic thing. And we get a lot of really creative uses. People will use them to watch maybe an elderly family's pill box to make sure they took their medication on time, you know, when they can't physically do with them. It's really, we have a very creative user group, and there's some incredible things. Things like watching 3D printers to make sure it's working properly. Things like that. That's
all of those actually. Those are interesting uses that I never actually thought of that you could use that for. Well, very cool. And again, we're talking to
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, you know, I think a lot of people, when they think about these cameras, they think about them as security cameras. And I think a lot of people buy them for that reason. But once you have them, you realize how powerful they can be. And there's all these other creative things you can do with them. And especially when the camera costs $20, you can buy a few of them. And once you realize how useful they are, really start using them in some different and more creative ways.
Very cool. Well, again, we're talking to Alana Fishman of Wyze Labs. And where can people go to order your cameras?
What was that last question?
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to let everyone know where they can go to actually pick up one of these cameras, because they're really cool. What's the best way for people to engage with the company?
Yeah. So they're available on our website, which is wyzecam.com. They're actually also available in the Wyze app. So anybody can download the Wyze app, and we do have a shop in there that people can use as well. And then they are also available on Amazon.
Wonderful. Well, Alana, thank you so much for coming on here to talk about these and talk about the cameras. And I really love the idea that you're making it more accessible for everybody and engaging with your customers, and excited to see what comes next for Wyze Labs. Thanks a lot, Alana.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. So here at Digital Trends, there we go. That was Alana Fishman from Wyze Labs. Very cool. So check out the website on that. And I want to say something to everybody who's listening live right now, who's watching live right now. Thank you. We appreciate it. We're live every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, and we are live. We do interact. Thank you to everybody who's been sending us comments and questions throughout the show. We try to get to a lot of those. If we miss something, leave a comment on the article. Leave a comment afterwards, and we will definitely read them. We proved that with Read 'em and Weep. Just kind of recap what we talked about today. We had Caleb Jettison in here earlier. You could read Caleb's article about streaming television at digitaltrends.com and all of his other reviews. We kind of covered some highlights that are going on, talking about the Facebook maybe integrating Messenger, Instagram, and WhatsApp, integrating their chat services, which is kind of crazy. That's kind of a developing story right now, so that you can follow at digitaltrends.com. We had Chris in to talk about Kabuki Strength and everything they're doing to try to innovate in that category and just to try to reduce fatigue. I mean, really interesting subject that I did not know that much about beforehand. That's why I love this show. I get to learn a lot about things. We had Julian Chikatu talking about Nokia phones and their comeback. His review is at digitaltrends.com. And then, of course, Alana Fishman from Wyze Labs right here on the show. Broadcasting live, bringing this show to you every day. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Coming up on Monday next week, we have a full slate of shows. Here's something that's going to be happening. So we have a company called Modsi that's going to be on. What Modsi does is they take pictures and images and measurements from your house, from your, say, like a living room, say my living room, and they scan it into a 3D rendering and then give you different ideas of how you can decorate your house, how you can change your living space. It's a really interesting company, and we're going to have them on, and yes, we're going to be showing my living room. So my living room will be on camera. Oh, Lord. And you'll be able to see that on Monday and see the renderings of how I can make it better. And maybe you can do this for yourself. So that's coming up on Monday. Full slate of shows next week. A lot of interviews, a lot of guests. We're going to be talking, let's see, Drew Prindle's got a segment coming up next week where we're going to be talking about emerging technology. We have so many different things that we're talking about. Julian's going to be back on actually on Monday talking about smartphones. We talked about some revolutionary and evolutionary phones. Today he's going to kind of give a recap of some of those. We've got Ronan Glan, who's going to be live from Sweden talking about what's happening in the world of cars. All that coming up next week. And the best way for you to find that is to hit that subscribe button. Wherever you're watching right now, go on over there, hit subscribe. You'll get a notification when we go live, and then you can join us. I want to thank everybody once again for tuning in. I'm Greg Nibbler. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week with more Digital Trends Live.